New footage has allegedly shown Dolly Parton's final moments inside a hospital, and it has taken the internet by storm.
I got so many cards, letters, flowers, and from all over the world.
Those words from days before now feel haunting, especially with this new footage that has left fans heartbroken and confused. But as investigators dig deeper into where the video came from, what they discovered was unexpected. Disturbing footage of Dolly Parton. The internet exploded with panic on October 6, 2025, when social media platforms were suddenly flooded with devastating news that seemed to shatter the hearts of millions around the world. Posts declaring "R.I.P. Dolly Parton" began spreading like wildfire across Facebook and X, sending shockwaves through communities of fans who have loved and cherished the country music icon for decades. The posts were everywhere, seemingly unavoidable, and they all carried the same heartbreaking message. Dolly Parton, the beloved 79-year-old legend who has touched countless lives with her music, philanthropy, and infectious spirit, had allegedly passed away, and when clips of her death surfaced, social media exploded. Within hours, fact-checkers, journalists, and even law enforcement began tracing the origin of the footage. What made these claims and footage particularly disturbing and convincing to many people scrolling through their feeds was the timing. The claims didn't emerge in a vacuum of normalcy, but rather during a period when Dolly had been facing genuine, documented health challenges that had already been making headlines and causing legitimate concern among her devoted fan base. But here's the thing, while many of this information are presented as verified, there are now claims that they may not be entirely so. The website Media Mass documented how a fresh wave of death hoax posts emerged in early October 2025, with fabricated claims that Parton had passed away on October 6, 2025, at age 79. These posts weren't just casual mentions in dark corners of the internet, they were full-blown obituaries, complete with dates, ages, and emotional tributes that looked devastatingly real to anyone who wasn't scrutinizing them with a critical eye. The scale of the information was truly staggering and revealed just how vulnerable even the most well-informed internet users can be to convincing fake news. One particularly viral Facebook post managed to accumulate nearly 1 million likes before people began to realize something was terribly wrong and that they had been duped by yet another cruel celebrity death hoax. The post had all the hallmarks of legitimacy that make these hoaxes so dangerous and so effective at spreading. It used official-looking formatting, included specific details about Dolly's age and the date of her supposed passing, and was shared widely by accounts that seemed, at first glance, to be genuine fans mourning the loss of someone they admired deeply. But this wasn't the first time that Dolly Parton had been the subject of such a story. The pattern of R.I.P. Dolly Parton posts has actually been recurring for years now, demonstrating a disturbing trend where internet trolls and clickbait operations repeatedly target beloved celebrities with fabricated death announcements. These patterns have been tied to unrelated events in the past, such as the death of Dolly's longtime collaborator Cynthia Weil in June 2023, showing how opportunistic these rumor spreaders can be, piggybacking on genuine tragedies to make their lies seem more plausible and more likely to be believed without question. Throughout the chaos, additional fake obituaries continued to surface on various Facebook groups, each one adding fuel to the fire of misinformation. Posts dated July 22, 2025, and generic memorial-style posts marking 1946-2025, referencing Dolly's birth year and implying her death in 2025, began circulating in unverified communities where fact-checking is often minimal and emotional reactions tend to override logical scrutiny. These posts, despite having absolutely no journalistic backing whatsoever, no citations from credible news sources, and no verification from any official channels, still managed to convince thousands upon thousands of people that the unthinkable had happened. The situation on X, the social media platform that has become a primary source of breaking news for many users, was equally chaotic and confusing. Searches for terms like "Dolly Parton died" or "R.I.P. Dolly Parton," conducted since October 1, 2025, yielded a disturbing mix of satirical posts, genuinely confused users trying to figure out if the rumors were true, and erroneous shares of the fake Facebook obituary that continued to circulate despite mounting evidence that it was completely fabricated. One particularly notable incident involved a user sharing a fake Facebook obituary on October 8th, which prompted a wave of responses from other users who were either mourning prematurely or frantically trying to correct the record with links to Dolly's official updates and statements. What made this news particularly believable to so many people wasn't just their widespread nature or their official-looking formatting, it was the context in which they emerged. Dolly Parton's life over the past year has been marked by genuine heartbreak and legitimate health concerns that have been well documented by reputable news sources, creating a perfect storm of vulnerability that made the death hoax seem tragically plausible to anyone who hadn't been following the situation closely or who was caught off guard by the sudden flood of RIP posts in their social media feeds. The death of her husband, Carl Dean, on March 3, 2025, at age 82 in Nashville, sent Dolly into a period of profound grief that she has been remarkably open about with her fans.
60 years. I've loved him since I was 18 years old. And it's a big adjustment, just trying to change patterns and habits. And I'll do fine, and I'm very involved in my work, and that's been the best thing that could happen to me. But I'll always miss him, of course, and always love him.
Carl and Dolly had been married for nearly 6 decades, an almost unheard of accomplishment in the entertainment industry, and his passing left a void in her life that she has described as devastating and transformative. She released a tribute single titled If You Hadn't Been There on March 7, 2025, just days after his death, which went on to chart in the UK, showing that even in her darkest moments, she was channeling her grief into her art and sharing her pain with the world through her music. But the challenges didn't end with Carl's passing. Dolly has been remarkably candid about how she neglected her own health and well-being during the long years of Carl's illness. Carl had been suffering from Alzheimer's disease since 2019, and Dolly, in her characteristic selfless fashion, devoted herself entirely to his care, often at the expense of addressing her own medical needs and concerns. This pattern of self-neglect, while born from love and devotion, left her with a backlog of deferred medical issues that would soon come to a head in ways that would alarm her fans and, unfortunately, provide ammunition for those who would spread false rumors about her death. In late September 2025, the situation reached a critical point when Dolly was forced to make a difficult decision that would disappoint many of her fans, but was absolutely necessary for her health. She postponed her first Las Vegas residency in 32 years due to health challenges, including kidney stones requiring treatment near Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville. This announcement, while framed as a temporary postponement rather than a cancellation, sent waves of concern through her fan base and sparked widespread speculation about the true extent of her health problems. The concern reached fever pitch on October 7th when something happened that would inadvertently add credibility to the death hoax rumors that were about to explode across social media. Dolly's sister, Dolly Parton, posted on Facebook asking for prayer warriors, revealing that she'd been up all night praying because Dolly hasn't been feeling her best lately. This emotional plea from a family member, coming just one day before the death hoax would reach its peak virality, created a perfect storm of anxiety and fear among fans who were already worried about their beloved icon's health and well-being. The deepfake nightmare and family concerns. As if the traditional text-based hoaxes weren't disturbing enough, the situation took an even darker and more technologically sinister turn when artificial intelligence entered the picture, demonstrating just how dangerous and convincing modern misinformation can be in an age where seeing is no longer believing. Among the most disturbing elements of this viral death hoax were AI-generated images that began circulating on X and Facebook, purporting to show Dolly Parton on her supposed deathbed, surrounded by grieving loved ones in what appeared to be hospital or hospice settings. These weren't crude, obviously fake photoshops that could be easily dismissed. They were sophisticated deepfakes created with advanced AI tools that have become increasingly accessible to anyone with basic technical skills and malicious intent. One particularly viral and emotionally manipulative image showed fellow country music legend Reba McEntire supposedly at Dolly's deathbed, a scene that tugged at the heartstrings of fans who know about the decades-long friendship and mutual respect between these two iconic women of country music. The image was crafted with such attention to detail and emotional authenticity that many people who saw it didn't immediately recognize it as fake, instead feeling a rush of grief and shock that such a private, devastating moment would be shared publicly. This is exactly what the creators of such content count on: the emotional reaction that bypasses critical thinking and encourages immediate sharing without verification. The exploitation of Dolly's massive popularity played a crucial role in how quickly and how far these hoaxes spread across the digital landscape. It's worth remembering that Dolly Parton isn't just any celebrity, she's an institution, a cultural touchstone who transcends genre, generation, and geography. She ranks number 27 on Rolling Stone's 2023 list of greatest singers, a testament to her enduring influence and the respect she commands not just from fans, but from critics and fellow musicians alike. With that level of fame and beloved status comes a darker side. She becomes an ideal target for hoaxers who know that any news about Dolly Parton, especially tragic tragic news will spread like wildfire and generate massive engagement on social media platforms. The rumors were particularly insidious because they exploited the emotional vulnerability that fans were already experiencing following the very real personal losses that Dolly had suffered and the legitimate health concerns she had been facing. People who loved Dolly weren't just worried about a distant celebrity. They were genuinely concerned about someone who feels like family to millions, someone who has been a constant, comforting presence in their lives through her music, her movies, her charitable work, and her genuine, down-to-earth personality that has never wavered despite decades of fame and success. What made the situation even more emotionally complex and difficult to navigate was that there were indeed legitimate reasons for fans to be concerned about Dolly's health and well-being. The postponement of her Las Vegas shows wasn't just a scheduling conflict or a minor inconvenience. It represented the first time she had planned such a residency in 32 years, making the cancellation all the more significant and concerning to those who had been eagerly anticipating the shows. For Dolly to cancel something she had been planning and promoting for so long suggested that her health issues were serious enough to warrant immediate attention and couldn't be postponed or worked around. The specific diagnosis of kidney stones requiring treatment near Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville provided some concrete information about what she was dealing with, but kidney stones can range from mildly uncomfortable to excruciatingly painful and potentially dangerous if they cause complications like infections or blockages. The lack of detailed information about the severity of her condition left room for speculation and worry, creating a fertile ground for rumors to take root and grow into something far more sinister than the reality of the situation. Frida Parton's Facebook post asking for prayers added another layer of genuine concern to an already anxious situation that made the request feel both urgent and deeply personal. When she revealed that she'd been up all night praying, hasn't been feeling her best lately, it painted a picture of a family in crisis, of a sister worried sick about her siblings' health and well-being to the point of losing sleep over it. This wasn't just a casual, "please keep her in your thoughts" post. It was a raw, emotional plea that suggested real fear and real concern about Dolly's condition. The timing of Frida's post, coming just one day before the death hoax reached its peak virality on October 8th, was particularly unfortunate because it provided what seemed like family confirmation that something was seriously wrong with Dolly's health. When people saw Frida's prayer request and then, shortly after, began seeing RIP posts and fake obituaries, the two pieces of information seemed to connect in a way that made the death rumors feel credible and possibly true. It was only later, when Frida clarified her intentions, that people understood she hadn't meant to alarm fans to such an extreme degree. Frida later clarified that she didn't intend to cause widespread panic or alarm among Dolly's fans, emphasizing that her post was nothing more than a little sister asking for prayers, not an announcement of imminent death or catastrophic health failure. But by that point, the damage had been done, and the prayer request had been incorporated into the narrative of the death hoax, used as evidence by those spreading the false rumors that Dolly's condition was far more serious than anyone was publicly acknowledging. On X, the sentiment among fans showed the full spectrum of human emotion during this chaotic period. Posts since October 1st revealed a community in turmoil, with fans expressing everything from concern and prayers to confusion about what was real and what was fabricated, to anger at those spreading false information about someone they love so dearly. Examples of posts included heartfelt calls for collective prayer that demonstrated the genuine love fans have for Dolly, tributes that tied her current health struggles to the grief she must still be processing following Carl Dean's passing, and frantic attempts to separate fact from fiction in a digital landscape that had become increasingly difficult to navigate. Positive updates began to dominate the conversation as more information became available and as official sources started to push back against the false rumors, with users celebrating Dolly's resilience and her fighting spirit that has carried her through so many challenges over her remarkable 79 years. People shared memories of how Dolly's music had helped them through their own difficult times, expressing their determination to support her now when she needed prayers and positive energy from the millions of people whose lives she had touched so profoundly over the course of her legendary career. The posts also revealed something beautiful about Dolly's relationship with her fans. There was a sense of collective determination that if Dolly needed prayers, she would get them in abundance. If she needed space and time to heal, her fans would give her that while continuing to send love and support from a respectful distance. The concern wasn't just about losing an entertainer, it was about the potential loss of someone who represents kindness, generosity, authenticity, and resilience in a world that often feels short on all of those qualities. This concern continued until recently, when Dolly came online and spilled all the details. Dolly speaks, and the truth emerges. On October 8, 2025, Dolly Parton did something that only she could do with such style, humor, and grace under pressure. She personally put an end to the death hoax rumors in the most Dolly way possible, reminding everyone why she's not just a legendary entertainer, but a masterclass in how to handle adversity with dignity, wit, and that signature sparkle that has defined her public persona for over 6 decades. She posted a 2-minute video on Instagram and X, filmed during a commercial shoot for the Grand Ole Opry's 100th anniversary, and from the moment she appeared on screen, dressed in full glamorous regalia with her trademark big hair perfectly styled and her makeup flawlessly applied, it was clear that the rumors of her demise had been greatly, outrageously exaggerated.
I know lately everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you?
With those opening words, delivered with perfect comedic timing and that mischievous twinkle in her eye that fans have come to know and love, Dolly immediately disarmed the fear and anxiety that had been building among her fan base.
I'm working hard here. Anyway, I wanted to put everybody's mind at ease, those of you that seem to be real concerned, which I appreciate. And I appreciate your prayers because I'm a person of faith.
The video was filmed in a way that showcased not just Dolly's continued vitality, but her commitment to her work and her craft even during a challenging personal time. Here she was, dealing with legitimate health issues that had forced her to postpone major performances, and yet she was still on set, still working, still bringing her A-game to a commercial shoot, celebrating one of country music's most storied institutions.
I can always use the prayers for anything and everything, but I want you to know that I'm okay.
In the video, Dolly addressed the rumors directly with characteristic candor and humor, stating, "I ain't dead yet." The phrase would quickly become a rallying cry among her fans, a defiant declaration that perfectly captured Dolly's indomitable spirit and her refusal to let illness or rumors define her narrative. She was taking control of the story, setting the record straight with her own voice and her own words, making it impossible for anyone to continue spreading false information about her condition without deliberately ignoring her direct testimony.
I've got some problems, nothing major, but I did have to cancel some things so I could be closer to home, closer to Vanderbilt, where I'm kind of having a few treatments here and there. But I wanted you to know that I'm not dying.
The directness of that final statement, "I'm not dying," was crucial in cutting through the noise and speculation that had dominated social media for days. Dolly wasn't dancing around the issue or being vague about her condition. She was being as clear and explicit as possible about her health status, while still maintaining appropriate privacy about the specific details of her medical treatments. She acknowledged that, yes, she has health problems that require attention, and yes, she had to make difficult decisions about postponing work commitments, but no, she is absolutely not dying, and the rumors suggesting otherwise are completely without foundation. She specifically addressed the rumors by saying, "That move revealed so much about Dolly's mindset and her approach to life. The idea that she still has work to do, that she still has contributions to make, that her purpose hasn't been fulfilled yet." At 79 years old, an age when many people have long since retired and settled into a quieter life, Dolly remains driven by a sense of mission and a commitment to her craft that shows no signs of diminishing. She confirmed that she's treating non-major issues that had been deferred during Carl Dean's illness, finally providing the context that helped fans understand why she was dealing with multiple health challenges simultaneously. The picture that emerged was of a woman who had put her own needs on hold for years while caring for her ailing husband, who had sacrificed her own health and well-being to be there for the man she loved during his final years. Now, in the reality of the situation, Frida Parton's Facebook post asking for prayers added another layer of genuine concern to an already anxious situation. The aftermath of his death, she was finally addressing the backlog of medical issues that had accumulated during that period of selfless caregiving. Dolly also urged fans to ignore AI-generated fakes, specifically mentioning the images that purported to show Reba McEntire at her deathbed, dismissing them with an exasperated "ooh, lordy" that perfectly captured her frustration with how technology is being weaponized to spread misinformation and cause unnecessary pain and panic. Her reference to these deepfakes was important because it highlighted a growing problem in our digital age, the ability of bad actors to create convincing false images and videos that can deceive even careful observers. The response to Dolly's video was immediate, overwhelming, and filled with relief and joy. The post garnered over 455,000 likes on X within just 24 hours, demonstrating the massive reach of her message and the palpable relief that fans felt upon seeing her alive, well, and in good spirits. The comment sections across social media platforms are filled with expressions of love, gratitude, and appreciation for Dolly taking the time to address the rumors personally, rather than having a spokesperson or publicist handle it with a sterile, impersonal statement. Official sources quickly moved to support Dolly's message and provide additional context about her health situation. Her Wikipedia page, last edited October 8, 2025, lists her as living and active, with upcoming projects including a November 2025 memoir titled Star of the Show, My Life on Stage, and a Broadway-bound musical called Dolly, a True Original Musical, which premiered in Nashville in July 2025. These projects represented clear evidence that Dolly was not only alive, but actively planning for the future, working on multiple creative endeavors that would extend her legacy and share her story with new generations of fans. Her official website, dollyparton.com, features updates from June 2025 about collaborations, including an unexpected partnership with rock band Motley Crue, and information about her Imagination Library charitable program, all of which painted a picture of someone who remains deeply engaged with her work and her philanthropic missions. The website made no mention of any life-threatening health crisis beyond the postponement of the Las Vegas shows, further confirming that the death hoax rumors were completely fabricated. Major news outlets, including CNN, People, The New York Times, PBS, CBS, ABC, and The Hollywood Reporter, all reported on October 8th and 9th, 2025, confirming that Dolly is not dying and is dealing only with treatable medical issues. The consensus across the media landscape was unified and clear. Dolly Parton is alive, she is dealing with manageable health problems, and the death rumors were nothing more than a cruel hoax that exploited legitimate concerns about her well-being during a difficult period in her life. Her spokesperson provided additional clarification to outlets like the Las Vegas Review-Journal, stating, "It's just the kidney stones and the procedure she needs to resolve those," offering the kind of specific medical detail that helped fans understand exactly what Dolly was dealing with and why she had needed to postpone her performances. Kidney stones, while painful and requiring medical intervention, are treatable conditions with excellent prognoses, not terminal illnesses. The reaction on X to Dolly's debunking video showed the internet at its best, people coming together in relief, joy, and shared love for someone who has meant so much to so many. Posts responding to her video expressed sentiments like, "The only way I'll believe Dolly Parton passed away is if she tells me herself," acknowledging both the absurdity of the rumors and the trust that fans place in Dolly to communicate with them directly and honestly. Recent X searches for Dolly Parton alive or general updates about her health showed overwhelming positivity in the aftermath of her video, with fans sharing the clip widely, continuing to send prayers and positive thoughts for her continued recovery and health, and celebrating the fact that they would continue to have Dolly Parton in their lives for the foreseeable future. The mood shifted dramatically from the panic and grief of the hoax to relief and renewed appreciation for having this remarkable woman still with us, still creating, still inspiring, and still bringing joy to millions of people around the world. Looking forward, Dolly's schedule remains packed with projects that demonstrate her continued vitality and creative drive. Beyond the memoir and Broadway musical already mentioned, she has a symphony performance scheduled for October 11th and the rescheduled Las Vegas residency now planned for fall 2026, giving fans plenty to look forward to and concrete evidence that Dolly Parton isn't going anywhere anytime soon. At 79 years old, she remains a force of nature, a testament to resilience, creativity, and the power of maintaining purpose and passion regardless of age or circumstance. So, regardless of previous viral news that we've seen, Dolly Parton is not dying. She is living, working, creating, and continuing to be the bright light in the world that she has been for more than 6 decades. And as she made abundantly clear in her recent video, God isn't through with her yet, and she sure ain't done working. What are your thoughts on these recent updates from Dolly Parton? Let me know in the comments section. For more videos like this, click on this next card on your screen.